right, welcome, my beautiful people. All right, today, what I want to do is because the holiday season is quickly approaching, and I understand that the holiday season can be very stressful for a lot of you guys, and a lot of you guys are going to travel. Especially in my industry, we notice that this, especially the month of December, January, and February, even though January and February not really in the holiday season, they're really peak season for us in terms of travel. So I want to give you some booking strategies. I want to give you some ideas that'll help you not only prepare for your holiday travel, but hopefully give you ideas and allow you to have a stress-free travel while saving money in the process, right? So let's first talk about booking time, right? I Ideally, if you book your travel 2 to 3 months in advance, you're going to get the best rates. That's the industry standard, right? 2 or 3 months. But here's what I recommend you do. I recommend that when you book your travel and you start to look at your flights, that you set a tracker. So now there's a lot of websites that give you the ability to start tracking the rates of the flights that you're looking for. Now, before I even go into that, as I've always said, I highly recommend that you use a travel advisor because your travel advisor will do all of what I'm about to talk about. For those of you that like to do yourselves, then these are the ways that we do it, and this is the way that I recommend you do it when you're going to book travel, right? So there are some sites uh, like Kayak, Hopper, Kiwi, um, just to name three sites that allows you to set your destination and a time frame, and it'll track fares for you. As well as I always mentioned, travel. Travel is my go-to travel. I'm not using my own travel site because there you're going to be able to use what is referred to as their explore button. And what that explore button does is allows you to look at a broad view of travel, and it's worldwide, but you can narrow it down to a specific location, a specific region, and you can see what the rates are so that you can decide. If you're trying to decide if you want to go to New York for the holidays, or you want to go to Europe for the holidays, or you want a beach vacation, or spend time on the beach during the holidays, right? You can set those locations up and see, which one's going to be cheaper for you to do. So that's one of the things that I highly recommend you do. Now, in addition to that, if you find a rate that you like, and now this is only going to work if you use a travel agency. So you can do as well with the airline. You're going to pay more, but what you can do is purchase the ticket, but make sure you purchase a ticket that you can you change, right? That has the ability to change it at no cost to you, with the exception of the price difference, right? So if you see a flight that you're interested in and you like that fare, you can purchase it, but keep it on the tracker. Because oftentimes, if the price drops, you can go ahead and book that flight at a lower fare. Again, that's only going to work if you use a travel advisor because they have the ability to set it up and get you flights that can be rescheduled. But again, you can also use, for example, and we'll go into this other part. But for example, with me, I am a Mosaic member with JetBlue. I'm a Gold member with Spirit. I'm Platinum with American Airlines. So because I have status, I can book a flight, and they'll allow me to rebook that flight with no change fee. Now, again, it's only going to work if you have status, but you can also buy a ticket that allows you to be flexible with your dates. So that's going to be important. Now, having said flexible, right? When you will truly get a deal when you have flexible travel dates, right? Um, so when you have flexible travel dates, you can, again, you can check to see using your tracker what day is going to be cheaper, what time is going to be cheaper, as well as the return. So I'm going to give you an example. I recently went to Amsterdam. I got first class tickets to Amsterdam, but I had to play around with. I had to be a little flexible on my travel time. So, for example, it was cheaper to fly on a Thursday, and not only was it cheaper to fly on a Thursday, but it was cheaper for me to fly instead of direct from Fort Lauderdale to Amsterdam. I flew from Fort Lauderdale to Boston and then from Boston to Amsterdam. So, but because I was flexible, what I did was my flight from from Fort Lauderdale to Boston, I stayed in Boston an extra day. So just made a day out of it. Went to Boston, had some good seafood at their famous legal seafood restaurant. Toured around downtown, and then the next day I hopped on my flight from Boston to Amsterdam. So again, being flexible gives you the ability to buy really cheap tickets. So for example, on that particular itinerary that I took, now the return, just to give you a little bit more details on that itinerary, on my return flight, I didn't have to do that. I flew directly from Amsterdam to Fort Lauderdale. But my business class tickets cost me, I believe, $2,100. No, I'm sorry, 1898, or around a little over, almost $1,900, to fly that business class ticket on JetBlue's Mint business class. Right now, a regular ticket would have cost me about $1,600 to $1,800, and I would have flown economy. But I would have to fly direct. It would have been a direct flight, but it would have been economy. Why not take an extra travel day if you can? Stay like I did in Boston for a day, but your whole trip is in business class, much better. Now, for those of you that are looking to fly and travel for free, now you won't be able to do it for this holiday season because it's going to be too late. Although I'm going to give you some options on how to get some points, and that is using points and miles. Now, I'm going to give you, for example, if you get the JetBlue credit card, the Spirit credit card, you will automatically get enough points right off the bat to get 2 tickets, right? Or a round trip ticket. So that's a way you apply for the credit card, and some of the credit cards will give you a spending limit before you can use it, but Spirit, JetBlue does. So once you apply for it, you get X amount of points that you can immediately use for your travel. Now, the good part about using one of those airline, and this applies to many airlines, not just JetBlue or Spirit. I know Allegiant also has, but you're limited on where you can travel with those. But Delta has it. All these airlines will give you a credit card that you can apply for, and it'll give you immediately points that you can purchase tickets right away. So that's an easy way to do it. But if you don't want to go that route, then there's a lot of other great credit cards like the American Express Platinum, the Chase. I have the Chase Inc. business card, also great for travel. There's a lot. I would highly recommend you just look for what's going to give you the maximum amount of points with minimum amount of dollars spent. That'll allow you, and here's the trick though, or here's how you maximize this, is once you get that credit card, put all your bills on the credit card. I mean, you have to pay those bills anyway. So put them on your credit card so that the credit card pays the bill, and then you just pay the credit card bill and you get points. In a 12 calendar period, you should have enough points to not only travel to your ideal destination, travel in first class, ideal destination, and you can also include your hotel. Great way to travel. I do it. My business is a lot of money. I get a lot of travel points when I travel. Oftentimes, I'm going to use those travel points again to fly business class or stay in a high-end hotel. So that's a great way to strategize your travel using points miles. Now, being that I'm in the short rental business, I'm going to highly recommend that you leverage vacation rentals, especially if you're traveling in a group or with your family. It's going to be much cheaper than staying in a hotel. Now, some tricks about using vacation rentals. Again, if you use a travel advisor that's well connected with a rental operator, then that's going to be ideal. Or, like I said, if you use us, we're both, right? We are the travel agency and we have the vacation rentals at our disposal. So, by leveraging this, by leveraging us or a travel agency like us, you're going to get huge, and when I say huge, very big discounts to travel, especially during the holidays, at a significant less cost than you if you went directly. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm referring to. For us, right off the bat, if you book with us, you're going to get a minimum of a 15% discount, but up to 25% discount depending on if you book the entire package with us. So, for example, if you book your flights with us, then you will get 25% discount on your stay. If you're going to just stay in one of our properties and book your flight elsewhere, then you're going to get a 50% discount. But the beauty about it is that I'm going to work with you, or my team will work directly with you to give you the exact amenities that you need and want, the exact location that you need, that you want to go to. And we're going to give you the best property available, and it's not going to be a hit or miss. If those of you that have used short-term rentals in the past, and I can tell you from experience, I've done it. Sometimes it's really a crapshoot when you book a short-term rental. So, especially if you're not familiar with the area, oftentimes you're not going to know the exact location until you book. And then once you book the property, that you get the location, you're still not, if you're not familiar with it, you're not going to know if that area is a good area, if it's close to transportation, if it's close to restaurants. You're also not going to know the actual condition of the property, because oftentimes the photos don't accurately depict what you want. But when you deal with a travel advisor like us, you're going to get that. You will have the ability to speak to us, and then we can tell you, hey, yeah, we've been there. Yeah, that's our property. Yeah, this is what you're going to get. There's a lot of advantages to doing that. Now, another big hack and tip, and I mentioned this in other videos before, and that is to plan or look for alternative routes to your destination. So here's what I mean by that. Let's say you're coming to, I'm going to use Fort Lauderdale, for example. Fort Lauderdale, if you're coming to the South Florida area, you're going to have several options. You can fly into Miami, you can fly into Fort Lauderdale, or you can fly into West Palm Beach. Highly recommend that, depending on where you're coming from, that you research those three airports, because one of those airports may be a lot cheaper than the other. And some airlines will travel to some airports and not others. I can tell you that for the most part, Fort Lauderdale and Miami will probably be your cheapest. But I have found, especially with Southwest, I'm going to give you some airlines where I found it cheaper. Southwest was one of them. I'm trying to think if there's, for sure, Southwest was one of the airlines in which I was able to find a much cheaper flight flying into West Palm Beach than I could flying into Fort Lauderdale or Miami. So look for alternative airports to see if it's going to be cheaper. Another big hack is when you're looking at destinations. For example, if you're going to Europe, Europe is it's not big, and it's very easy and cheap to move around there. So let's say, for example, you want to go to Barcelona. Look to see if it's going to be cheaper to fly to Madrid. Look to see if it's going to be cheaper to fly, let's say, Marbella, Valencia, anywhere else, or even fly into Paris, and then take a local flight over to Barcelona. Because I am here to tell you that you can save a lot of money doing that. And if you're flexible with your time, you're going to have another destination that you can enjoy, that you probably weren't planning on, but because you're going to save money on that ticket, and sometimes it's substantial, especially if you want to fly business class, it'll be very substantial if you find a nearby airport that is going to be cheaper to fly into, and then you can just commute by train, oftentimes the cheapest, and it's very quick, or by a local domestic flight, right? Let's see what's else on my list. The last thing I'm going to talk in terms of travel, and this is really only going to apply if you're going to go to a big city, if you're going to go to Europe, definitely some places in South America, is consider alternate transportation, meaning don't necessarily go straight to take a taxi, because oftentimes taxis are going to be much more expensive. I'm going to give you another example of my trip to Amsterdam. In my trip to Amsterdam, if you're not familiar, the airport is not very close to downtown Amsterdam, but you can take the train from the airport to downtown Amsterdam for under $6. It's $5 and like 98.95, not dollars, euros. $5.95 in terms of euros, to get to downtown Amsterdam. A taxi ride will cost you above $80 if you were to take a ride. So that's a prime example of don't just automatically jump in a cab. Look for alternative transportation that oftentimes is faster and easier. I mean, in Amsterdam, it can't be any easier. The train station, it's right in the airport. All you have to do is walk down the stairs and you hop on the train. It takes you about 20 minutes to get to downtown Amsterdam, and voila, you're there. Same thing applies to Madrid. Go to Madrid. The train station is not as, but it's very close. It's just a short walk to the train station, and you can get to downtown Madrid very easily via train, and much cheaper than paying for a taxi. So think about that. Also think about, if you're like me, I love to be on a bike, or oftentimes I don't mind even taking those birds or light scooters, and I just hop on those babies and take off. So that's another big tip to look for. The other thing that I want to talk about here is activities. Many cities during the holidays will offer free holiday events, markets, and festivals. In Colombia, for example, they're on that. Madrid, they're big. You can have a lot of festivals, a lot of events that are going on, and take advantage of that, right? You're in Italy, Milan, Rome also have a lot. They all have a lot of free activities, but take advantage of that, and especially holiday, you're going to fly out there or spend some time during the holiday. Look for activities that are free, because sometimes they're phenomenal activities and it don't cost you. And the last I'm going to talk about is in terms of traveling, is to travel light. Now, here, I always bring this up because this is what I use to travel. Now, Thursday, and I don't have it with me. I usually only travel with that, and I stay in a short-term rental that has a washer and dryer so that I can wash clothes and I don't have to overpack. But one of the tricks that I use, because airlines won't charge extra for, I carry a backpack and I carry a garment bag, right? So in the garment bag, man, you can pack a lot of stuff in a garment bag. Jackets, the heavy stuff, right? Your jackets, your suits, pants, shirts. I even stuff in the garment bag. I stuff my equipment, like my microphone, my cameras, my cables. I put that in the garment bag so I don't take space in my backpack. And the airlines won't charge you for an extra bag when you do that. So that's a good tip. Anyway, hope this information was useful. If it was, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, follow me on Instagram. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.